Coming up next on This Week in Torrance, the 54th Annual Armed Forces Day Parade celebrates and honors those who have fought and continue to fight for all the freedoms we enjoy today.
Plus, the Salvation Army continues to give back to the community. This time, they're honoring their partners that helped them to do so.
Then, get ready for a change at major intersections that will get you moving a little bit faster and safer to where you need to go.
And we'll show you how local residents decided to take a different way to work for better health and for the environment. These stories and much more are just seconds away.
Your local news starts right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week in Torrance. I'm Jen Chun.
And I'm Ben McCain. Thanks for joining us. Here are your top stories. The city of Torrance recently celebrated one of its longest-running traditions, honoring our men and women in the armed forces, past and present. The tradition began in 1960 when the city's mayor, Al Ison, with the help of the Torrance Chamber of Commerce, organized the first parade as a tribute to friends and members of the community who had served in the armed forces. Now in its 54th year, the three-day celebration, consisting of military exhibits, parade, barbecues, and much more, started off literally on a high note from the military band concert, entertaining the public with a night of patriotic songs, jazz, and singing. Reporter Renee Ng has the story.
What better way to kick off the 54th Annual Armed Forces Day celebration and parade than with a little music? We were treated to an incredible night of performances by the 40th Infantry Division Band.
It's an opportunity to do what I came in the service to do as a bandsman, and that's to represent the military, to do what I love to do and play music, and to hopefully, put a smile on some faces of the general public.
Some songs that made the public smile include well-known ones, such as the Star-Spangled Banner and America the Beautiful.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I was very, very, very impressed. I was, hand over heart when they were, singing the Star-Spangled Banner, and I just enjoyed it very, very much.
But that wasn't all. Band members performed other types of music in smaller ensembles.
I play the trumpet, and we have different ensembles. I'm part of the concert band ensemble, and we also have a jazz band. We have a singing quartet. We have a lot of ensembles.
The band is made up of members from the California National Guard, and they find time to rehearse between fulfilling duties and working civilian jobs.
Being a National Guard unit, we don't get a lot of rehearsal time together. So basically we all have civilian jobs as well, so we rehearse in the middle of our civilian lifestyle.
The band is headquartered in Los Alamitos, but can be heard all over California. This performance was special because it begins the annual Armed Forces Day celebration and parade festivities, which honors and gives thanks to those who protect our country.
I love it. I love the military music and the spirit and the glistening instruments of the band on all the stars and stripes. It's a great day for me.
I really liked it. I enjoyed it. It was lots of fun.
Dignitaries such as high-ranking military officers and the mayor also attended the concert, and increased security measures were taken.
Our SWAT team's deployed. We have bomb dogs from a number of different surrounding agencies. All the venues that only the senior flag officers or VIPs go to are swept with bomb dogs and immediately secured with our personnel throughout the entire event.
Those precautions allowed everyone to enjoy their night and give thanks to the armed forces.
I look forward to saying thank you to the average soldier who's out there 24/7, taking a chance of giving his or her life for us, so we can go to a concert, so we can go to a dinner, a breakfast, do whatever we want to do.
And gave band members a chance to see who comes out to watch their shows.
there's a lot of times we get opportunities to mingle with the crowds afterwards. I really like that because we get to see, exactly who's turning out to our concerts, and we get to shake hands and smile and talk to people.
Now you'll also see the band marching the Armed Forces Day Parade. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Renee Ng.
Thanks, Renee. The concert was just the beginning of the action-packed weekend.
That's right, Ben. Saturday morning kicked off with a military exhibit, and reporter Jacqueline Wang was there to tell us all about it.
The Fern Elementary School Choir joined several community members in honoring our armed forces. And Major General Melvin Speece, who is this year's Grand Marshal, finds the outdoor exhibit to be especially important.
I think what's happening here in particular in the parking lot is the best. This is a chance for the residents of the South Bay to come and interact with those who wear the uniform of our country. So as you serve out here today and tomorrow, those who are participating in the parade, enjoy yourselves, but do a good job and make sure everybody who comes by has a chance to walk away knowing that nothing less than the finest Americans have chosen to serve their country.
Attendees also got a chance to get up close and personal with the impressive equipment on display.
Military personnel tell me that the vehicles and weapons at the exhibit are all still active. The vehicle behind me over here was used in Afghanistan.
The most eye-catching weapon on the lot was the M777 howitzer shooter.
Shoots 155 millimeter rounds. It's used to suppress. It's a very accurate weapon. Shoots 18 miles.
Torrance is one of only a few cities in the U.S. designated by the Department of Defense to host an Armed Forces Day celebration. And despite the effects of sequestration, Lieutenant Steve DeAnjou denies all rumors of the event being scaled down this year.
I mean, with all these other cities around the nation cutting back due to budget constraints, the city of Torrance has been steadfast in their resolve to support the armed forces in general and specifically Armed Forces Day Parade.
Family members also came out to celebrate their loved ones, and Kimberly Martin, a wife of a Coast Guard, hopes her two kids take away from the event the importance of unity.
I think that that's an important value for our kids to learn, that no matter what separates us, that we're really in this together. And I think that's very important for them to honor and respect members of our services who provide so much to us.
For This Week in Torrance, I'm Jacqueline Wang.
Thanks, Jacqueline. The exhibit was at the parking lot of the Del Amo Fashion Center, and this is the Major General's third year participating in Torrance's Armed Forces Day event.
The festivities continued with an action-packed lunch event in Torrance's El Prado Park. Once again, here's Jacqueline Wang with the story.
The Armed Forces Day barbecue celebration was a small way for community members and volunteers to thank our active duty soldiers.
I think it's wonderful. I think it's great that the community comes out and supports, and I think that it's nice for soldiers. Maybe they don't necessarily realize how much of the community support that they have, so to be able to be here and witness it, I think it's really wonderful.
You know, we do what we do because we love it, and it feels great to come out here and be appreciated by so many people.
While soldiers enjoyed their day off, the focus shifted to the new recruits, who got a little taste of what's in store for the months ahead.
Today we've got approximately 300 of future soldiers, young men and women that just recently enlisted in the Army. They'll be shipping off for basic training in the weeks ahead, and today we brought them out to get recognized as part of the Torrance Armed Forces Festival.
Besides celebrating their involvement, future soldiers also participated in team-building activities.
You will attempt to traverse forward as a team. 1, 2, 3, right! 1, 2, 3, left!
It may sound a little silly, may look a little silly, but believe it or not, there's some structure behind it and some basic maturity that's required, a bit of discipline's required, and but it's mainly an activity just to get them involved and to do some teamwork.
Older officers watching from the sidelines got a chance to reflect on their own experiences.
They're just starting, and it's exciting. They don't know whether to stick with it or not. Ask the old guys like us who say, hey, that first 5 years going to go by real fast, then 10, then 20. All of a sudden, you're home free. You're doing great stuff because you're defending our way of life. And only in America can you do that the way we do it. And just stick with it because you'll be so grateful to your abilities to understand and to work for the rest of your life.
Among the new recruits was 17-year-old Torrance resident Tommy Thompson, who is excited for his journey with the armed forces to begin.
I'm looking forward to coming home and wearing that uniform and letting everybody know that I serve the country.
For This Week in Torrance, I'm Jacqueline Wang.
Thanks, Jacqueline. The new recruits at the barbecue are from all over Southern California, and in a few months, they will be training in different boot camps across the nation.
Locals enjoy the tradition of the Armed Forces Day Parade by celebrating the military and patrons in the community. It was the ending of the parade that had the crowd cheering for one boy fulfilling his lifelong wish. Here's Deja Charles with that story.
Today is the 54th annual Armed Forces Day Parade, and families representing every branch are lounging in the sun, anticipating the drums that are bringing in the troops from the distance. Neighbors join neighbors along Torrance Boulevard. Between the military tanks revving up the street and marching bands beating in unison, this sunny day could be no better. And for Tony Ordoz, who comes year after year, it's the only place to be.
We've been coming out here actually pretty religiously the last 8 years, but I've been coming here since I was a little kid.
But for 14-year-old Adam Wolf, this year's tradition was completely unordinary, a day he will remember forever. Wolf was born 12 and a half weeks early and suffered a life-threatening brain hemorrhage, leaving him triplegic. Now, through the U.S. Army Reserves and the Make-A-Wish Foundation, his hopes of joining the military was granted.
Today's special because I had no clue I was going to be sworn in. I just knew I was just coming, and I was like, there's so many people. I was like, wow, I loved it.
Along with Wolf, 500 young men and women were sworn in during the parade.
They told us we should come today, and they asked me if he would like to be sworn in, and I thought I'd surprise him.
Wolf recalls wanting to do this for years.
Because I just want to be a part of the army, and because they are protecting us, and I really appreciate it.
It's moments like these that keep locals coming every year.
The job that they do for us, protecting our homeland, security, we need to come out and support these men and women every year.
For This Week in Torrance, I'm Deja Charles.
Thanks, Deja. This year, the U.S. Marines were highlighted and given special honors, including Grand Marshal of the Parade.
This year's celebration featured a unique addition to the traditional parade lineup. Jennifer Hua was at the Torrance Airport to tell us more.
Classic aircraft soared over Torrance Boulevard, and to make this year's Armed Forces Day celebration even more memorable, the Western Museum of Flight offered a few lucky residents an experience of a lifetime.
With the purchase of a single raffle ticket, winners were able to fly alongside some pilots in classic warbirds, kind of like this one.
Aircrafts, including several that served in World War II more than 70 years ago, flew over the parade route thanks to pilots and private warbird owners who donated their fuel time and planes.
They had an opportunity to fly in a P-51 Mustang, or an SNJ, or a T-6 Harvard, or a C-53 Sky Trooper, which is a real World War II veteran. It actually served in Normandy.
Before the flight, enthusiastic and some nervous winners were given some time to prepare for their experience.
I was a little nervous, yeah, a little anxious, but it was great. I have a lot of trust. I know these pilots fly all the time.
This opportunity to ride in an old aircraft was a time for winners to reconnect with history like never before.
You can see how the paratroopers set when they were going out, and the noise of the airplane and everything. It was just really a great ride.
For some, the flight also served as a huge eye-opener.
Realizing that there were young men jumping out of it on D-Day, you really gain a lot of respect for what they must have felt, and just sitting there thinking about that has a big impact.
For This Week in Torrance, I'm Jennifer Hua.
Thanks, Jennifer. About 100 tickets were sold in the raffle, and 15 winners were chosen to fly in the aircraft. All the proceeds raised from the raffle tickets will be donated to the Western Museum of Flight.
The festivities came to an end with the traditional dinner banquet with one simple goal: to say thank you to all those who have served in the military. Reporter Juanita Adame has more on the story.
A special group of Marines were honored this year during the city's annual Armed Forces Dinner celebration.
I've had the privilege to meet a number of Montford Point Marines and participate in a number of their events with these men, and I've remained genuinely in awe of those who, despite the reality of a structure that made them second-class citizens, nonetheless accepted the responsibility to serve and fight for their country.
Keynote speaker Major General Melvin Speece took some time to recognize Master Gunnery Sergeant Robert Reed and Captain Edward Hicks. Both men are Montford Point Marines.
You consider we have the Montford Marines here, and I'm so honored that you guys were part of this today. I really want to thank you.
The Montford Point Marine Association was founded to honor the first African American Marines who served in the military during segregation and the Civil Rights Movement.
Captain Hicks retired in 1972 after 24 years of service. Master Gunnery Sergeant Reed in 1974 after 26 years.
The Montford Point Marine Association has 33 active chapters across the United States. Last year, the organization was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal of Honor. The City of Torrance recognized both veterans with a resolution and key to the city. The dinner was this year's culmination of Armed Forces Day events, and everyone we spoke with agreed that patriotism during the celebration weekend is alive and well in the city of Torrance.
It's absolutely amazing the support. Both there's parents of kids, mothers who are parents of active duty service members currently serving. But the other thing that amazes me is all the veterans out there, the World War II, everybody's wearing, if they were Vietnam, they're wearing a Vietnam hat, and everybody's saluting and thank you for your service, and just waving the whole time. It's really kind of a humbling experience. So.
In all, more than 250 people attended this year's event, with men and women from every branch of service. Reporting for CitiCABLE 3, I'm Juanita Adame.
Thanks, Juanita. Torrance's Armed Forces Day has the distinction of being the nation's longest continuously running military parade, sponsored by any city.
Coming up, you won't want to miss the freshly crafted beer at the grand opening of a new brewery.
And local businesses get honored for their support of the Salvation Army. But first, here's the current temperature outside.
He passed away last year. It was hard at first when I found out how sick he was. The doctor suggested hospice care at home. Hospice helped so much. He came home, and that was wonderful. They helped me take care of him. They made his last months comfortable, pain-free. We were able to find some joy till the very end.
In order to beat breast cancer, I knew I would have to lose my breasts. But to reclaim my life, I chose breast reconstruction.
Each year, nearly 150,000 women will learn they will undergo a mastectomy due to breast cancer. But 7 out of 10 women are never told about their breast reconstruction options. Breast reconstruction is a very important part of the healing process, both physically and emotionally. Download my song Flower to share the message and help us share the fact that women can feel whole again.
Companies give back to the community every day, and this year the Salvation Army wants to recognize corporate volunteers that make this city stand. Here's Deja Charles with the story.
Since the beginning of his term, Mayor Frank Scotto has seen the Salvation Army continually provide for those in need, thanks to the support of local individuals and businesses.
Over the years as mayor, I've been very fortunate as the mayor of the City of Torrance. First of all, having all of you as part of our community.
Volunteers from neighboring corporations are being awarded at the 12th Annual Salvation Army Luncheon for donating their time, money, and service.
If it wasn't for those who partner in service with the Salvation Army, we couldn't do what we do. And that's the truth.
Companies like the Delamo Fashion Center and Alcoa Fastening Systems were just few of many recognized at the luncheon. Lieutenant Colonel Riley reminded the mayor and those present why they have every right to be proud.
Mayor, you should be a proud mayor. You really should. You got wonderful examples and corporations and companies who are investing in the lives of the Salvation Army, partnering with us.
Rosie and Greg Duran were presented with the Doing the Most Good Award. Greg is the volunteer cook for the Corp programs, while Rosie visits the sick and elderly that are bed-stricken.
Indeed, both Greg and Rosie do what they do, not because of any ambition, or any accolades, or any recognition, but because they're just simply good people who love people and love to serve others for God.
Recipients shared the same gratitude as well. Pat Hoyle, who received the Katie Geisert Award, relayed appreciation with simple yet sincere words.
So thank you all very much, and I am very pleased to be a part of the Salvation Army.
For This Week in Torrance, I'm Deja Charles.
Thanks, Deja. To learn more about the Salvation Army, visit salvationarmyusa.org.
Instead of driving, Torrance area employees took a different set of wheels to get to work this week. Reporter Jacqueline Wang tells us more.
Employees of the Torrance community started their morning at City Hall to celebrate Bike to Work Day.
It's an annual event hosted by the City of Torrance to recognize and honor the men and women in our community that bike to work all the time, every day.
The City of Torrance has over 50 employees who regularly ride their bikes to work. And Jill Crump, who works for community development, encourages everyone to try a different type of transportation.
The City of Torrance supports alternative modes of transportation, and in the spirit of improving our air quality and getting cars off the road, we definitely promote bicycling as one of those modes. Walking is awesome, biking, taking our transit. Torrance has an awesome transit system.
Another perk about Bike to Work Day is everyone who brings a helmet onto a bus will get a free ride from Torrance Transit. And if you thought you couldn't carpool with bikes, think again. Tandem bikes were also a big hit among the commuters.
I grabbed one of the other guys, Jeff, back there, the really tall guy.
Right.
And we coordinated last night, and so I went by his house and picked him up on the tandem this morning.
Even though a light breakfast was served at the event, Larry Basil feels that nothing wakes you up better than a morning bike ride.
It's just a great sport, period. It's gets you out of your car, gets you some exercise. It actually makes you more alert in the morning. And you don't need the coffee to get perking, and because you're already going.
Helmets and gloves are the usual gear that you see bikers wearing, but attendees of the Bike to Work event also brought their backpacks and briefcases.
The thing is like you have to be organized to bike to work. Like you have to have a change of clothes, which I already have those here. You have to make sure you have everything in your backpack that you need during the day. So it's a little bit of organizing to get it done, but it's fun.
Everyone who attended the Bike to Work Day event got a lime green shirt, and bikers tell me it's always better to wear a brighter color because it makes drivers more aware of you. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Jacqueline Wang.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Bike to Work Day is part of Bike Commute Week, a proclamation made by Mayor Frank Scotto for Torrance to take part in the nationwide effort to promote the benefits of bike riding.
Motorists in Torrance will soon see a change at several major intersections. Reporter Juanita Adami has more on that story.
You may have already noticed them throughout different cities in Southern California. Well, now the flashing yellow arrow is making its way to Torrance. So what is it and how will it affect you?
The flashing yellow arrow, the purpose for installing it in Torrance is to be able to give drivers the opportunity to make permissive left turns at major intersections when opposing traffic gives them a gap to do so, instead of waiting for a green arrow to come up.
The new traffic light, which will be introduced at several major intersections, will act a lot like a solid green light for drivers wanting to make a left turn.
When the flashing yellow turns on, when the intersection is clear, you can make your left turn with the gap.
So left turns at intersections with flashing yellow arrows will be allowed, but the turns will be unprotected and drivers must yield to oncoming traffic and pedestrians before proceeding.
Prepare to leave the intersection, but leave it cautiously.
The flashing yellow arrows will be installed at 3 intersections, Arlington and Sepulveda, Cabrillo and Sepulveda, and 182nd and Prairie. It will also reduce pollution and help drivers save on gas.
And for us here in California, the big issue is emissions. And we have proved over many years that if you can get drivers to move without starting, stopping, that we can actually have a better environment and place to live.
Public Works Engineer Manager Ted Simon says the change for Torrance also came after many drivers complained about wait time at intersections.
We have a lot of complaints, a lot of inefficiencies essentially with left turning signals where drivers go, they hit a red light and they wait for the signal to cycle through all the way around.
Informational meetings will be provided by the Public Works Department for those drivers who may still have questions. Reporting for CitiCABLE 3, I'm Juanita Adame.
Thanks, Juanita. For a list of times and locations for the meetings, call the Public Works Department at 310-789-6108.
The mayor and city council members were back in session this week. Here's an update on the latest meeting. Mayor Frank Scotto proclaimed the month of May as Foster Care Month and urges all residents to come forward and consider being a foster care provider. In Los Angeles, there are 18,000 children and youth in foster care, which provides a safe, secure, and stable home environment. You can catch replays of this week's council meeting right here on CitiCABLE 3 on Time Warner Cable or Verizon Fios Channel 31 every Wednesday and Thursday at 10 p.m., Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. You can also watch online at torranceca.gov. Council will be dark the next 2 weeks and back in session June 11th.
Now let's go out to the sports desk where Juan Hernandez has a preview of what's to come.
Juan, what do you have for us?
Hello to everybody checking in on us from This Week in Torrance. Check out what we got this week on the sports desk. First up, Bishop Montgomery riding a serious hot streak all the way into the CIF championships. And, well, there's one team left standing in all the playoff madness going on in town right now. If you want to find out who they are, you're going to have to check in with us right here on the sports desk every day at 4 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. right here on CitiCABLE 3.
Thanks, Juan. The craft beer industry has taken hold in Torrance, and it isn't showing any signs of slowing anytime soon. In fact, another new brewery just opened up in Torrance. Reporter Renee Ng tells us more.
Hundreds of people lined up for a taste of freshly brewed beer at Smog City Brewing's grand opening.
It has been crazy all day. As soon as we opened the door, within about 10 minutes, there were probably 20 to 30 people. And then there was a line wrapping around all inside.
The latest brewery to join the growing craft beer scene in Torrance is run by a husband and wife team, Jonathan and Lori Porter. The idea began many years ago when Jonathan began home brewing.
I started home brewing about 10 years ago, and then and got into it professionally 6 years ago, and spent the last 4 years working in a brew pub, Tustin Brewing Company in Orange County.
He decided to open his own brewery, and he and Lori looked at a variety of different cities before choosing the pro-business atmosphere in Torrance earlier this year. Their new 5,500 square foot space includes a 20-tap taste room and brewery.
We started brewing in early April and wanted to give ourselves enough time to actually have beer for the public. But this is basically to tell everyone that we're here. And again, the whole thing is to share the beer with everyone.
One of the beers he was excited to share is award-winning.
The Coffee Porter we're immensely proud of. It was our gold medal winner at the Great American Beer Festival in 2012.
Smog City Brewing offered not only 1 or 2, but 8 different beers at their taproom opening.
The Corcus Circus is a sour, and the Saber-Tooth Squirrel is an IPA, and the Amarillo Gorilla, which here's a double IPA.
Prices for the beers range from $2 for a 4-ounce sample up to $6 for a 12 or 16-ounce beer. And naming the beers along with their brewery was half the fun.
Well, we wanted something that would give us a regional identity, that would identify us as a California brewery. So the logo really is, this is a California Cypress, and so we're a California brewery with our roots in Los Angeles.
At the opening, many were there to socialize.
We're just having a great time with our friends and enjoying the atmosphere here for opening day.
But for some, it was a more routine activity.
Our activity involves going to a brewery, whatever city we're in. We go see whatever local breweries are around. And we're local to here, so it's kind of nice to see something open up that's right around the corner.
And those in the craft beer community are excited about the addition of one more brewery.
It's a fun little subculture and a sub-economy that's really going to help grow into a much bigger thing.
Smog City Brewing served almost 500 gallons of beer at their grand opening. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Renee Ng.
Thank you, Renee. Smog City Brewing will have their official ribbon cutting on June 7th with Mayor Scotto. For more information about the brewery, go to smogcitybrewing.com. Well, that's going to do it for us on This Week in Torrance. I'm Ben McCain.
And I'm Jen Chen. If you've missed any portion of our show, you can catch us again at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.